All right, here we are again. Going to just cut down our phone here in the background. Look, a lot of people have questions, that's for sure, about what's going on with this pandemic, and everything about this virus. So today I thought I would cover some of the biggest questions that I think rightfully so many of you are questioning these days. This whole situation is making people think quite a bit about what is going on in this world, especially here in the United States. So I've got a lot to go over with you. I'm going to try to go through it one at a time here. If you want to take some notes, feel free to do that as well. But let's just get through this. And then, of course, you can always share this, please, with family and friends and go over the recording whenever you like as well. But please do us a big favor to get this kind of information out to more people. Share it. Tag somebody in the comment section below and just send this off to somebody that you know and start the conversation if that's something that you feel like you'd like to do. Hi, I'm Jonathan Landsman, your host for Natural Health 365 Live. We do this live broadcast every single day, Monday to Friday, at 12 noon Eastern Time. All of these shows are designed to really focus on supporting your immune system, helping it to improve at a much higher level, to perform at a better level, which will automatically protect your health. And by the way, if you're new to this broadcast, do me a big favor right now and type new in the comment section so we can give you a big, warm welcome. All right, so let's get to it. Obviously, the first thing at hand here that I think all of us need to answer is, who do we trust? Is it the Dr. Fauci's of the world, Dr. Anthony Fauci, who's the top, put out on TV as the top infectious disease expert out of the National Institutes of Health, the NIH? So is it Dr. Fauci? Is it Dr. Birx? Both of these people, Dr. Deborah Birx, both of these individuals, part of the White House Corona Task Force, right? Coronavirus Task Force. Do we trust these two? The United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, or WHO, the World Health Organization? A lot of people, I have to be honest with you, are wondering about these organizations and individuals that are deeply embedded with the vaccine manufacturers and the pharmaceutical industry and those powers that be. So it's a natural thing to wonder, do they have an agenda? Obviously, on the surface, they're out there saying they care so much for the human population, right? They don't want the elderly to get hurt. They want to protect the children as we get close to school sessions that are supposed to begin this fall. So on the surface, they always say in their mission statements and when they're in front of the camera, they care so much. But when you think about and you look into, please investigate this on your own, the ties that they have with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the vaccine manufacturers, it's very normal, unless you're very naive, to really wonder if there's just a hidden agenda here and they have a huge bias, to say the least. Do we trust our healthcare providers? Obviously, you have to understand within a hospital setting, and a lot of this has already been put out on social media and all throughout the internet. And for anybody who's familiar with the way our United States healthcare system operates, you're looking at federal agencies like the CDC and international organizations like the World Health Organization, all working hand in hand to pass down to public health officials on a federal level, a state level, and then into the hospitals and all of the medical offices that you have throughout the United States. There's a very big, structured, controlled system about what is, quote unquote, acceptable to do, how to speak to patients, how to treat them, and then basically everything else that is unacceptable. So do we trust that system of healthcare that rightfully so, a lot of people call a sick care system. Do we trust that? Or finally, and of course, we have to understand that when it comes to this virus, there is a huge financial incentive within the hospital structure to label someone COVID positive, and then obviously all the other ancillary services down the line, all the way up to putting somebody on a ventilator. They're making huge money when they do that. Now, I understand you and I might be very different. We would never do such a thing. We only do what is right to do. But there have been a lot of healthcare providers questioning the motives of a lot of healthcare providers in hospitals about how they're pushing all of these services and rushing to label people positive even when they haven't even tested them. We're going to get up to tests a little later on as well. But there's a lot of questioning going on here about the way things are going down. And obviously, another thing that I know a lot of you watching these broadcasts have already said to me, the thing that you trust the most is your intuition. And I think ultimately, as you listen to me go through the rest of this presentation, it's completely up to you to take this information in, go check it out for yourself, and bottom line is, you're going to have to make up your own decision as to what you're going to do in terms of who you're going to trust and what you're going to decide for your own health care. So, is there a testing problem? It's another major question, right? Who do I trust? Number one, big question. Second one that I'm seeing a lot in social media and directed towards me and Natural Health 365 is there a testing problem? Well, rightfully so, there is a huge, huge question mark in terms of the validity of the tests that are being used and administered literally into the millions now, at least here throughout the United States. Here's a quote I want to give you from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Believe it or not, antibody tests should not, I'll repeat it, it's not quoted this way. Antibody tests should not be used to diagnose a current COVID-19 infection, end quote. It's right there, folks. And yet everybody is being trained on TV as they hear the testing, and look at how many people are positive. And yet, in black and white on the CDC website, it says it should not be used to diagnose current COVID-19 infection. How do you reconcile the two? That I'm going to leave for you to answer. There are also a lot of false positives, a tremendous amount. We're going to get to a major false positive in probably 30 seconds. Here's another fact, though, you should know. If you've had any kind of cold, flu, or even have had a flu shot and have felt perfectly fine in the last 10 years, and you go and get one of these tests, you are extremely likely to be tested positive. And I'm putting that gently. The truth is, you probably will just turn up positive. So what does that mean? Right? We have to wonder about these things, and I know a lot of you are wondering what the heck is going on here. And as I said to you before, about 30 seconds later, we're going to get into this now. By the way, a flu shot increases your risk of coronavirus. You're like, what? Check this out. A recent military study shows military personnel evaluated who received the flu vaccine with 36% increased risk of coronavirus after getting the flu shot. I mean, again, you have to take all this information in, and you must check this out yourself, especially if you're new to this information. I get it. And by the way, that's why I'm urging all of you who are not new to this information, who are all going to be out there saying, I know, I heard that, I understand, I'm there already. Please share this, because there are a ton of people out there who never hear this information. And this is simply the truth. A lot of these quotes you can find for yourself. I'm just throwing out stuff for you to hear. And plus, of course, this is going to blow your mind. And maybe it won't. Maybe you've gotten these emails. But I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, I'm going to read one to you that hit my inbox 5 minutes before I was getting ready for this show today. And it's typical of the emails I've been getting in the last, I would say, 2 weeks. Here's a quote from an email I received. I have 2 friends that went for COVID testing, filled out paperwork, and stood in line for over 1 hour and said not waiting any longer, and they just left. They filled out the paperwork and they left. They both got results as positive. They were never tested. Let that sink in, folks. They filled out paperwork to get tested, submitted their names, and later they get sent an email, you're positive, and they were never tested that day. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, and I'm getting emails like this all the time. One off, I get it. You're listening to this going, Jonathan, you're making a big deal out of nothing. But I'm seeing this all over social media as well. Something's going on here, folks. And so it's legitimate to ask questions. What is happening here? The untested are counted as tested. How unscientific is that? Fruit. A man running an African country sent a person's name in attached to a piece of fruit. Don't hold me to this, but I believe it was papaya. And that papaya, named a human being, came back positive. Okay, I could go on and on with different examples, but this is something you got to check out on your own to see with your own eyes and then process this yourself. So what about these cases? Are they really going up? You bet they are. I mean, based on what I've said in different broadcasts before, but it's worth repeating right now, most people have no context. They just hear in the mainstream media, on all of these networks, these outlets, cases are going up, cases are going up, red alert, breaking news, and that's it. Nobody hears anything else. But the reality is, we've already talked about how the validity of these tests are way in question. But let's just stay with, okay, they're all right, these tests. Cases represent all those tested and at least 15 other people that you would come in contact in, say, within the last 14 days. All of those people that you were in close proximity to that were not tested yet, they're listed as probable cases. And those probable cases in what you hear in the news are cases. Again, how unscientific is this? Of course the numbers are going up. They're going to be skyrocketing when you go by those parameters. But how in anyone's right mind did they allow something like this to go out and be reported to people? For me, it doesn't make any sense at all, and I know a lot of you are questioning what's going on with cases. Another big question is, who's dying and who's not? Now, of course, there's this huge talk right now about the school systems, and the push is, from the very top, the so-called experts, we got to shut down these schools. We got to protect these children. There's not a word, not one not one good scientific word out there about how dangerous this whole virus is, this outbreak is, for children. Yet, we have to shut down all the schools. That's pretty much the tone of where we're heading with this, folks. And we're going to see what happens in the next few weeks, because school is supposed to go down very soon in the fall. It's going to be here before you know it. But the push is on. The squeeze is there. It's tightening down, and parents are concerned. But why? People are wondering. So who's dying? I've done reports on this as well, and you can look up this as pure fact. 43+% of all those who've died are the elderly population in these assisted living and nursing home settings. And long story short, people who are diabetic, overweight, much older, very weakened immune systems, indoors, away from sunshine, taking lots of medications, and yes, supposedly, and again, this is a big question mark, supposedly diagnosed positive with COVID. And then when they die, that population is making up 43% of all the deaths that we've seen, at least here in the United States. And it's very much the same, about 50% worldwide. What if you took that population away? What if they really were dying, and a lot of you are asking, of diabetes, cancer, whatever? What's happening is, and I'm getting to that point, these comorbidities, these things that actually really do take life, since COVID has hit us. Dr. Deborah Birx back in March said, she admitted this, yeah, if you came into a hospital or anywhere else you died, and it was a gunshot wound, God forbid, or any other disease, a massive heart attack that took your life, if they tested you and they called you positive COVID, you died a COVID death. That's it. How unscientific can you get? Yet she admitted on television that no matter what else you really took your life, if you happened to be tested or labeled positive COVID, that was what went on your death certificate, a COVID death. So this misclassification of deaths has a lot of people wondering, again, what the heck is going on here? Do masks work? And the answer has to be, in a literal sense, no. Look, put aside the idea that people feel more comfortable, they're being brainwashed by the media, put on a mask, that's the right thing to do. I get it. I get it. If you sneeze or you spit, I get it. Material coming out of your body is more likely to stay inside under the mask. But when I say that the mask doesn't work, you just have to go to the mask manufacturers. The COVID, right, 19, that was so good, the SARS-CoV-2 virus is so teeny. The mask doesn't stop that virus from getting out. So the reality is that that virus can go out into someone's cell, replicate in someone else's body, and if the person is immune compromised, weakened condition, that person will be at risk, whether somebody has a mask or not. And there's one other very important thing that I don't see a lot going on, but this is, again, just factual. All you have to do is look at the healthcare providers in hospitals. They know this is true. What else do they protect, folks? Hello? The eyes. They have eye guards. So the ones that are the closest to these infected people in hospital are guarding their entire face. So everybody walking around with a mask, guess what? The virus can enter your body through your eyes and the mucus in your eyes. And that's how it can gain entry. So what are we going to do? It hasn't been spoken at all from these top infectious disease experts. And in fact, I heard one say, oh, we're not going to tell people to do that. And what was the reason? Because then the personal protection equipment will be really low for the healthcare providers that really need it. So it's like, forget the people in the general public. Who cares about them? We can't have all of them buying up eye guards, because then the healthcare providers won't have enough. Can you believe this? So you have to really wonder, again, What the heck is going on here? Another big question. So can we trust the solution? We know where this is all heading, folks. Look at any of the top leaders in infectious disease here in the United States and worldwide, and they all say this injectable solution that hasn't supposedly been created yet at all is going to be the answer. If you ask Bill Gates, who's obviously in the billions of dollars, clearly being put out there as the top guy with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation pushing for this injectable solution, if you ask him, the only real solution, he literally said this, you can find the videotape on this, the only real way we get back to normal is if everyone gets a shot. Of course, we're supposed to all, with our logical, common sense mind, put aside the fact that Bill Gates has already personally profited by the tune of $200 billion in revenue for the $10 billion he had spent up to 2019. We're supposed to put aside the fact that he has a personal, vested interest in seeing this deployed throughout the world. Again, we have to wonder, what the heck is going on here for real? They also can't even cure, and I use that word intentionally, they can't even cure the regular flu that's claiming, according to these conventional experts, 35 to 60 plus thousand people die every year in the United States of the flu. They've had the shots for that for years and years, where millions of people get it. And it still doesn't cure the flu. People still get the flu. People still die. But somehow, magically, we're supposed to make this quantum leap and believe that this injectable solution is the answer to the pandemic. Nothing else to worry about. You got to be very naive to fall into that. Other shots, of course, are highly ineffective as well, at best. And I'm being kind for this broadcast. Many people have been injured by these shots, and that's a whole other broadcast, but I know you understand that. The fast tracking of these shots clearly has a health risk. Again, I could do a whole show on that, but we have to wonder about this fast tracking of a COVID shot that has never been approved this quickly. All these top infectious disease experts are saying that they expect this thing to be rolled out by the end of this year. You're looking at about 12 to 18 months of development instead of years that it normally takes to develop a shot that's going to be pumped into somebody. And somehow, again, magically, we're not supposed to question the risk associated with fast-tracking approval of this shot. I don't know. A lot of people wondering what's going on here. Medicine in general, just to throw out another concept for you, Western medicine in general never views a health problem as something that's curable. Their approach is very simple. Come on in. You're suffering. I'm sorry to hear that. Let me test you. Let me diagnose you. And let me medicate you and tell you the procedures that you must take to help manage your disease condition. I want you to really look that up, because you will see that that language is pervasive for everything. Never once do they utter, you know what, you could do this, and you're very likely to not have to worry about this health problem. And yet we know scientifically so many health issues, like cancer, like heart disease, like diabetes, the things that millions of people suffer with, but they suffer because they lack the really good, grounded scientific information that is out there about what exactly they should do now to get away from those diseases. Western medicine, the docs that come out, the conventionally trained doctors, they're not allowed to talk about anything except drugs for your disease, surgeries for your health issue. That's it. So what about natural remedies? I know a lot of you are questioning that as well. What is going on here? Why is it on social media so silent? Maybe you hear a little noise, but if something gets very popular, it gets shut down. The videos get removed. The voices get silenced. And also, why are government health experts, as we like to call them on TV, why are they silent? Why are the Dr. Fauci's and the Dr. Birx's, all of these people, even Bill Gates for that matter, who spends billions of dollars on how to help, quote unquote, improve the health of the world population. Why on earth don't we ever hear anything come out of their mouth about vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, garlic, essential oils? Nothing about any natural antiviral substance that, of course, I admit it, poo-poo, it can't be patented, and you can't make billions of dollars controlling the marketplace. Maybe that has something to do with why they never talk about those things, and they only focus their attention on remdesivir, this very expensive drug that can be controlled by the pharmaceutical industry for coronavirus, or a shot that's being developed that can be controlled by a company to make lots of money. Maybe that's why they only speak about those things and they don't talk about other things, just maybe. A lot of you I know are questioning that, and a lot of you see that that is exactly what's going on. Why are doctors demonized? I mentioned that before. Doctors who clinically have amazing success giving relatively inexpensive to practically no cost at all remedies to people who have trouble breathing, clogged up in their respiratory system, in serious health conditions, and then days later, they feel much better. The doctors come out with these clinical evidence and the program of exactly what they do, and their videos get removed. They get threatening letters from government agencies saying, do not speak about what you do anymore. Why? A lot of people are wondering, why are doctors being demonized for just simply relaying to the public what they have seen to be successful? Then it's up to all of us to listen, take in the information, and do what we want. Doesn't seem to be that freedom anymore. Why does social media censor this information? Why are they so quick to say it's fake news? It's silly. It's more than silly, but I'm being a little kind here in this broadcast. It doesn't make sense. A lot of people are questioning what the heck is going on. And then finally, of course, I think this is, it is. Final thing before I get to my question of the day. And by the way, if you do find this information helpful and you want to share this with someone, please tag them in the comments section. Send this broadcast to somebody. I know we're live now, but of course it'll be a recorded version as well. And so many people, I know this, not just because I'm doing it. So many people need to hear this information. And then I'm encouraging every single person not to listen to just what I'm saying, but to take this information and investigate it on your own. So please help us to get this message out and share it with someone that you know, a family member, a friend. You know what to do. So the last big question is, why is this country being shut down? So many others. Actually, I've spoken to other people in other countries, and some of them it's not bad at all. But let's just stick to the United States. And certainly Canada is a little out of control as well. But in the U.S., I got a lot of people wondering, what is going on, shutting down this entire country? And a lot of you are wondering, is this for political reasons? Gee, I wonder. It's an election year for the President of the United States. In this world, one of the most powerful job positions you could hold in the entire world, being President of the United States. And this is what's going on now, this year, shutting down all of this, making this such a big deal, scaring everybody. And believe you me, everywhere I go, post office, mail service places, everywhere around, I'm seeing people really scared. Even wearing the mask, turning their heads away, trying to stay away from people. You can see in their body language, a lot of people are very worried, very fearful. So a lot of people are wondering, is this politically motivated? Does the virus exist? Of course it does. Of course people get viruses. Of course people get sick. And of course people die. We're not debating that. We're talking about the degree, the level in which we're seeing it pounded in the news outlets and put out there for the public to watch. Is it to create more dependency on the federal government or even your state, local governments? A lot of you are wondering if that's the agenda. Oh, don't worry about anything. We as government experts are in charge and know what we're doing and just obey our orders. Is it about trying to gain greater and greater control over the population? Certainly it appears that way in many of the activities of many of these government elected officials, people who are elected by the people, but then get very power hungry. You'd have to be naive to think that none of this is a possibility. Is it to remove Donald Trump? Again, the political reasons, you'd have to decide that for yourself. Is it to kill small businesses? Very interesting that a Walmart or another large company, they can stay open. But bars, restaurants, small businesses, you're not allowed to be open because that would be very bad. You would infect more people. But yet the major food chains, the food outlets, the department stores, that's okay, right? And of course, the major corporations that are running things online to sell goods to people, that's perfectly okay. But all of these small businesses are getting crushed. People who have spent their whole lives and all of their money invested in their small businesses, and they're being squeezed literally to their business death. So a lot of people are wondering, is this an agenda to kill all the small businesses in the backbone of the United States? Is it to increase big company profits? Obviously, that works hand in hand. And is it to promote a one world government? A lot of you are wondering that. This agenda of, no, it's not enough for one nation to do something, but another nation does something else. With a global pandemic, we all have to behave the same way. And the only way to really come to the rescue is to have a one world government decide these things for all the world's citizens. I know a lot of you are wondering that as well. Because of the activities that you're seeing here, you're questioning all of this. Ultimately, you've got to decide, folks, as I close out here, is this fraud happening or not? Are the people in this world being played or not? Are things being exaggerated? Are a lot of people walking around completely clueless? Within even the healthcare system, they're not even aware of all these things that I brought up today as a possibility. So it's for you to decide. My question to you is very simple today. I want to know, I'm polling you today to see, how worried are you about this current pandemic that we are all experiencing here together? Are you A, very worried, B, mildly worried, C, not worried at all, or D, maybe it's other we put down? You can tell us what you think about what's going on today. And basically, that's it today, folks. I just want to remind you that the Natural Health 365 live broadcast. We develop another show every single day for you, Monday to Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. So please join us. And also, please, 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 did I say please? Share this show with your family and friends to help us to get this message out to more people. When you share, when you tag somebody, it really makes a big difference. When you make a comment and you engage with us, it makes a huge difference to help the social media companies out there to see, wow, this is content that we should put out to more people. Look at how many people are engaged. That's why I ask you to share and make your comments. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this program. I hope you got something valuable out of it. And I look forward to speaking to you again soon tomorrow for another broadcast. Take care, everybody. All right, Instagram. I told you we cover a lot today. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk to you again soon.